Hey, welcome to Tony Talks Trash About Music. Tonight I have Blake in the house here. We are here on a holiday, and we're here to talk and start off a new series that we had a concept a while ago. I guess it all goes back to a few years ago. Blake turned me on to Tyler, the Creator, I guess, when, the Pink album, the one that was later, and kind of worked my way down from there. And I just kind of had the idea, well, maybe we could have a little thing together here where we talked a little bit about Tyler. What? Tell me a little bit, Blake, about when you started. Uh, tell me things from your perspective, like how you came into
Well,
being with this guy and stuff,
it's kind
and
of
odd
funny.
future.
So, I heard people talking about it in school, and my first introduction was actually one of my teachers saying, I'm guessing she heard Tamale or something, or saw like a performance of Tamale on TV and thought that that was like every single Tyler song. She said it was too avant-garde for her. And she didn't like it. It was too out of the box, and that made me think, I wonder why she feels that way. That makes me
Yeah.
want to listen to it. And then I was
That's fun.
listening to it. I was listening to Flower Boy and Igor mostly at that time.
Oh, yeah. Igor was the one
That
that I
was
had. I
before
loved it.
Call Me If You Get Lost, or Call Me When You Get Lost. You know what I mean?
Well, tell
Um,
me what you know about, as far as your thing goes. Like, I know we're not on here. I know there's people that know every damn thing about Golf Wang and Tyler and all that. We don't
yeah, I'm just a casual
profess to do that.
fan.
Right, but I think the interesting thing is that I think it's important. The spirit of this, for me at least, it's important for me. I think for people my age to give new things a chance and to get things. And I've really, in listening to the breadth of his work, I've really come to appreciate his artistry and the talent within the certain, and I guess, boxes that he put himself. Right. What do you think about Odd Future? What do you know about that, Blake? I mean, a lot.
Well, it wasn't just rappers either. There were like artists, skateboarders, a bunch of different people coming together for that project. Some of which, like Earl Sweatshirt, went off to have like really special, like good solo careers.
Yeah,
Um
we noticed. Yeah, I think what we're going to plan on doing is going through all these, Blake. And Blake and I were talking today that we noticed that, like, the first one that we're going to talk about this evening, really started off as a mixtape and just basically almost like an Odd Future. There's so many of them involved in every song
it
that's
was
happening,
released
right?
for free too.
And released on Christmas, I think, right? Well, what do you know about
I'm
him?
not sure.
What do you know about what do you? I think December 5th, 2009 on the Tumblr page is from what it says on the
Yeah.
on the page. But yeah, so
Yeah.
so what did you know about him coming up and stuff? Was this when was the first that you heard about? I guess you were talking about, your first experience and kind of worked your way backwards, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
What do you think about this first one? I mean, now that you've had a chance to go back, it's
Um
really, now I've got it on vinyl here, obviously, and this is the first one here. It starts off bastard, and I will tell you, even though, Igor is a shock with yes, a motherfucking
mhm.
dangerous. That's a hell of a long way to the stuff on song called Sarah, which we'll talk about a little bit later on this. This was you notice the swastika and stuff and all that. What's so funny is these
He's-
kids in this picture, the
yeah.
guy kid with the upside down face. You got to really look at it. At first, you don't see anything abnormal with it, but then now it's got Tyler, the Creator. This guy's face is upside down.
I feel like he did that. I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like he did that yeah, mostly just for shock value. I don't know.
Well, that's it. Let's talk about that because that's the first thing. That's my first reaction to this is,
Maybe because he
you
didn't
know,
have a dad or something. I don't know. To express the way he felt. He felt like a freak for not having a dad, so he's got to make everybody else look like a freak.
and what's this stuff about this, like this psychiatrist or something talking to him all the
So
time?
yeah, so it was interesting. He mentioned in the first song, what was it? Dr. TC. He said that he was gonna have like more therapy sessions after, which wound up being the later albums, I think.
I guess that's
Like
what
the
he's
the Wolf
saying.
trilogy or
Yeah, I
whatever.
didn't. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the first thing when it first starts, the song, the first starts off. to me, I see these things inside. So I mean, and I know it's not kind of a rating thing, but if you look at the beginning of the first one, uh, and you said it was put together, right? Was it like GarageBand or something?
Yeah, it
How did
was
he do this?
GarageBand and Fruity Loops. I think he mentioned in an interview that like when he was making his first songs, he was doing it on like a limited version of Fruity Loops.
And so maybe that's the thing. And you know, one of the things that I've noticed from Tyler, at least as far as a permanent thing to me, is I love the rhythms, I love the things that happen, but I'm really not a fan of that. And it pops up a little bit in this record, that bass drum sound, which just sounds like a flaccid bass drum
Yeah,
head that's real, and it blurs all the sounds. You can't hear anything. You know, I mean, it really makes it lo-fi.
yeah,
You know, sense. But I like the first song. I think the first song, "A Bastard," or whatever the first one is here, was a
Bastard.
yeah, it's not bad. I think it's one of the better ones actually on it. I think there's a lot of,
Yeah,
these words start coming in, and after a while, I think you and I talked about it. After a while, it just kind of I would be afraid, and I understand why people would be afraid, because if you're like young and you don't really know what the hell's going on, or and especially if you're in an environment like a city environment of a dangerous thing, and you start hearing some of this horrorcore shit, man, that's not exactly you kind of got to balance your influence and
true.
really what you're doing, you know.
I mean, they're not the first to do that. Wasn't there like ICP or whatever?
Oh my God, ICP, my friend John loved him. My friend John loved
Yeah,
it.
so that's
With
kind
my
of
with
what it's like.
he goes, what's the one song the guy goes, with my on your tonsils, I mean, it just nasty shit, just really nasty. Just, I hear they had like they're from Detroit. They have Fago soda, and they have all these. That's a completely other
Well, I don't
thing.
know.
But anyway, moving on to seven, the second one, it kind of low key. I don't, I think we just, again, I don't know, man. Yeah, that's when the loose bass drum sound comes in. I think that's when it kind of drags it down with this. But then the third one at the bottom one, I like the female vocals on it, but then it's got to get that offensive, those subparts there at the end. At the end, they got to go into the, he's got to get into that stuff. How do you feel about that? I mean, how did you feel when you went
Which
back and heard
one?
that? Huh?
What, the album in general?
Just the horrorcore things of this one, and maybe probably Goblin's kind of a lot like that too, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just don't care about it. Like, I'm aware that it's not real. Like,
You think most?
he's not serious about any of this stuff. It's very unserious.
So you think he's just being a goofball, somewhat, but on like it just on a just doing things for the most attention that he possibly could. That's why he did that.
Pretty
Hey, what happened
much.
with that? Yeah, what did he get in trouble? Like he got on like a couldn't fly, do not fly list or something? Didn't he over something?
Yeah, I don't think it was from this album, though. I think that was from Cherry Bomb. Let me double check that.
But
But
that was but I mean, but there was a situation where he actually. Well, I mean, that still
he
has a
was
lot of.
banned from other countries, though, from Odd Future stuff. Yeah. I don't know if he was put on the Do Not Fly list, though, for that.
Wow. Well, while you do that, I'm going to talk about the to me the ickiest part of this record. And they had singles. They actually put singles out in a way, that singles from Bastard. I mean, I didn't know single. Pigs Fly was a single, and weird. Jack and the
So I'm not
Beanstalk. I
entirely
get it.
sure if
What
he
is
was
it?
put on a no-fly list or not, now that I'm looking into it. He thought he was put on a no-fly list, but apparently
Was
the
not.
airlines are denying it. I don't know,
Okay, well, good. Well, if
which is
he's there,
interesting.
maybe that they knew that. Well, what? Let's start
They
with the
still might be
second side
questioning
here.
him. I don't know.
Yeah, isn't this second side where things start to get weird? Like French. What does he say? Like French. What does he talk about? Check my French or whatever on that version. Try
Yeah,
talk about anal sex and stuff. I mean, it's just I hate to
yeah.
talk about this with my kid, here, but it's word of the sake of that. It's I don't mind the machine like bass. It's kind of good. I don't mind it, but I don't mind that one.
It's fine.
And then we get the sexual stuff with Blow, ridiculous,
Oh,
stuff with real harsh, like, and I don't know. It's
Sorry to
the
get
program.
sidetracked
Yeah,
for a second, but I do want to circle back to Odd Toddlers because, like, I believe that beat. Let me double check because I wrote it down over here. Yeah, that was the beat that MF Doom also used, which was interesting. One Beer specifically, which is like one of the more famous songs from that artist. It's interesting that he chose like a notable beat. I'm curious when, because MF Doom was writing, like, releasing music around the same time. When was One Beer released?
I don't know,
Let
but
me see.
you know what I think is interesting from at least
But it's the
old
same
school.
beat.
They're,
2004, so it was before this. I wonder
it was
if
yeah 5 years before it. It's 2000. This is
Tyler
Christmas
heard
2009.
One Beer and decided to use the same beat.
Maybe, maybe. Yeah, and it ends. You
Anyway,
know, the ends with that paradise at the end of second side. I like it, but that seasick kind of
yeah.
that deliberately like. I mean, that is innovative as hell, and I give him credit for somebody trying to do like I always wanted to do a version of like that song. Check it out now, but I wanted to metric modulate it the whole time. To destroy
Mhm.
the beat that everybody likes, speed it up and slow it down. Because that's kind of how I hear it. But this is wild, man. The effects very innovative on that one. So I will give him that this last song on the second side of that. Do you have
Mhm.
anything? We're done record one, man. Do you have anything else to say about that one? I mean,
Um,
I certainly don't think I
there's
don't
not a
think it
whole lot.
compares. What do you think? I mean, you certainly don't think this compares in any way artistically, merit wise, to the later stuff that.
Not real. There's not a lot to say. Like, I don't really want to comment on like a lot of the outlandish like content of that
I agree.
album.
I agree. It's almost stupid, this record. It's stupid, And I looked at it. I was almost like, God, what'd you get me into? But I realized it before I ever heard this. I heard the good ones, Flower Scum, and I heard all the other ones were. I think there was a significant change, and we'll talk about this a little bit as we go
He
forward. But I think
changed. You
when he,
can tell he still tests the water sometimes, but like
yeah,
he's far less about making people upset for fun.
yeah. Well, you know what? The thing of it is, and I think there's a little difference too. He had a lot more songs in this era. These first two records that had like a more of a string patchy sound for the keyboard, and then when he went to more of a Fender Rhodes, in the later ones, man, like Flower Scum and
Yeah.
Cherry Bomb and that's when it really started. Wow, you could really
Well, I
hear the
think he lets the
bump.
like R&B and like soul come
Oh,
out more too, which is nice.
he's a freaking encyclopedia, man. I hear all these great songs that I knew from my youth. He knows every D's like a freaking, he knows it like the back of his hand. Let me tell you. Well, let's get into side three here. Side three is the one that to me is where things get a little bit crazy.
Oh
Uh,
God.
I love the first song. The first song's got a nice change up. It's got a rhythmic change up. I like the tuned tom toms and how the drums actually are a melodic part of the song. But then it descends into all hell when you hear ass milk, and from that point on, the
Well, that was
lyrically,
early Earl Sweatshirt though. He was like
uh,
15 at the time too, which is wild.
oh my
It's just
God, such a
teenagers messing around is what ass milk was.
and VCR is okay. VCR rebounds a little bit.
Yeah.
That was a single, I guess, wasn't it? It was that I heard that they had that on. He talks about bitch a little bit. I don't press my buttons. That's the cool. But I mean, I like the sound of it. It's a slow, smooth song. It's kind of sad. But then, man, Sarah, dude, Sarah to me is just the dire bottom of the whole horrorcore or whatever the hell
No comment.
he's talking there. I just don't see the content much, musical content on that as much. I mean, it's really sicko type of
No.
stuff.
I agree.
So I got to just I would put that as an I just don't know why he could do that. I don't know how he could do that. It's wild he could do that. You know what? You know what I heard one time? There's an interview I heard. He and Iggy Pop were talking, and Iggy Pop was like trying to sell Spin Magazine or somebody saying, "Look, I don't know what the hell you think about this guy, but this guy is a serious artist. I've spent time with this guy. I see what he puts into his art. He's really good. He should you should appreciate him. From he was kind of trying to convince a rock magazine that you should have interest in this guy because, and I agree, this guy's production techniques were just even
Mhm.
back then it was interesting. Now, to me, I don't know if I had a bad taste from after that, how the sicko at the end of that. But side four of these songs, Session and Jack and the Beanstalk with it about the drug stuff, he's talking and there's just not much harmonic overlay in that. That was a big one. The Session, of course, he's talking about fading, smoking about weed and stuff. It's good. The speed up voice is kind of weird
Yeah,
on that other one, what Tiana or whatever the song is. And then
I
what do
know
you
what you
think?
mean.
And then he does some of the nasty shit about the sexual stuff again here
Yeah,
in the last thing. So all in all, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about any of those songs or anything else you want to say about it? I think we've
there's not
discussed
a
it
whole
before.
lot to say. It's the beginning of a lot. Um, Beginning of like a big what's it called discography. Like he's released many things since then, and even the next album, I think, like Goblin, gosh, some of the songs on Goblin though, what's it called? There's one song that's such a good song, but it's literally about stalking somebody.
I know that was creep. I know which one you mean. I know. We're gonna have to deal with that next
It's
time
such a
out.
good song, but I don't want to listen to it or be caught listening to it because I feel like it would be creepy.
Well, just do it in the open day when you prepare for the next one because I'm going to listen to it again and go over my notes. But yeah, my verdict on this
That's
one
Frank
was
Ocean.
I agree with you 100%. It's a good start, but in light of what I know of this, I have a sneaking suspicion that this is probably going to be at the bottom of the list. Not only because it was limited in what the studio think it'd be, but I mean I kind of like that's what I kind of like about Cherry Bomb and Igor is
Yeah.
that it sometimes just lo-fi's it and says fuck all the
Igor,
great bells
though,
and
he
whistles here.
had the resources necessary if he wanted to, too. And he
Right.
did. He did do some things were produced and polished sounding,
And it's just
but he's
interesting
just
how
got
it
his
just ever
unique
sounds.
style. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, really great. Well, this is awesome,
Likes
Blake.
his
Great to
synths.
talk to you. Yeah, great to talk to you with this one, and great to do this. We're going to have to keep this going for the next one. But anyway, that's our verdict on this one. And this one again is the first one, Bastard, which it wasn't really a record. It was a mixtape, as Blake said, released for free Christmas Day, 1999. Although all the singles kind of trickled out in the year. Pigs Fly, actually, the first single was April of 2009. So going all the way back, we said we had Thanksgiving today. We're taping this on Thanksgiving, and we mentioned to our cousin this, and our cousin goes, "Oh, I liked Tyler back when I was in middle
Well, it
school
was
or
Odd
something."
Future, but
The odd future, right. Made me feel, I don't know what's good today, but she's in school now, North Carolina. Good to see her. But anyway, good to see you, Blake, and we will
yeah, good to see
return
you
again
too.
with Goblin, and I really appreciate doing this. I appreciate your insight on this. Everybody, leave your thoughts below. Leave any thoughts you have with this one, and your thoughts on Tyler, and your thoughts on anything. And we thank you, and we will see you next time. And we'll Blake and I'll see you next time on the next installment of this series.
Bye.
Bye.